Good evening, everyone. It is January 22nd, 5:30 in the evening, and it's a wonderful Wednesday thus far, and I'm doing a new video, a follow-up to my previous retro anime favorites. Now I'm going to go over my retro anime cyberpunk series that I love. Some are movies, some are OVAs, and some are actual ongoing retellings. So, I'm going to start with Cyber City Ueda 808, and the premise of that is going to be of convicts being used to infiltrate a city that's being controlled by a hacker. And there are several characters with each of their speciality. There's a little bit of a partnership and romance between the main criminal convict and one of the ladies inside being a hostage. So it is completely cyberpunk because some of these criminals are enhanced cybernetically and have different talents. So in that sense, it is completely cyberpunk, and it's very gory, very violent, with some adult situations. So I do recommend it, not for children. So my next one is Bubblegum Crisis, and that actually has multiple series within it. It started with Bubblegum Crisis, and then it went to Bubblegum Crisis Crash, and then a retelling of the original Bubblegum Crisis and Bubblegum 2040. So I'm going to go over the original series real quick. It is a series about female mechanical suits that they are called the Night Sabers. It's led by Pris, and by cover they are a rock band pop, and Pris is the lead singer. And so when they get called, it is serious, because in this world there are cyborgs and androids called boomers, and they have gone rogue, and something is making them gone rogue, and so that's part of the investigation to where they're doing, and that goes out through the entire series and the offshoot series. For example, they have AD Police Files, which came out in 1990, 3 years after Bubblegum Crisis in 87. And it's set 5 years as a prequel before the series begins, focused on the Inspector Leon McNichols earlier in his career. So, they pretty much go through the same thing. There's boomers, and they're starting to malfunction. So they're androids that are human-like, but start going rogue, and in doing so, creating murders and other crimes. So that is AD Police Files. And then AD Police Protect and Serve came out in 1999. It had better characterization than AD Police Files. It expands on their universe, and the Voomers, which are, before they become boomers, they're called Voomers. Voodoo Organic Metal Extension Resource. Produced, and they're in this series, they're produced by a leading tech corporation that runs most manual labor in Genome City. And the Voomers malfunction and become boomers. Kenji Sasaki, highly trained officer, has a new partner, and they work past their differences to battle these boomers, crazed, malfunctioning Voomers. Okay, and then after that series, they made another AD Police offshoot called Parasite Dolls, which came out in 2003, which takes place after the events of the original OVAs, Bubblegum Crisis, set in a mega city focusing on AD police involving boomers going awry, from androids feeling emotions to denying they are androids, One boomer is a high-end call girl, and in these episodes, they follow her through seemingly murders. And so, did she create the murders, or is she part of this solution? So, I highly recommend this one. This one is definitely not meant for children. It is highly adult-orientated, violent, sexual, and adult drama. So, yeah, that is my AD Police Parasite Dolls 2003. Next one is Armitage 3rd. I highly recommend the OVAs, not the first movie. We're going to go over the second movie, but I prefer Armitage 3rd OVAs over the Armitage 3rd movie they made that had Juliette Lewis and Kiefer Sutherland voice acting. But I do prefer the OVAs because it's a total story and not just a condensed movie story. So, Armitage 3rd is based on a third types of artificial androids so lifelike to humans that humans can't tell they're actual androids. And this series takes place on these OVAs take place on Mars, where the humans have colonized them through having robots do all of the hard labor. So they're used pretty much as slaves, the robots and androids. So it got completely transformed, or terraformed is the proper word. So after Mars got terraformed by the robots and the androids, the humans came and colonized. And they have cities, they have rivers, they have everything that Earth has now because Mars has been terraformed. So it bases on a cop coming from Earth to Mars, Ross Syllabus, and he transfers to the Mars Police Department in St. Lual. That's a city in Mars where it's located. And his partner is a young, mysterious female named Naomi Armitage. She has a secret to be revealed midway through. This duo must solve who is murdering certain selected females. What is their mystery, and are they connected to Naomi Armitage? The duo gets set up and must go on the run. All the while, Naomi looks for her father. And this is one of my favorite of all times. I highly recommend it because this is total cyberpunk. It deals with enhanced androids so lifelike you can't tell. It deals with sci-fi, flying cars. It integrates the technology. Even Syllabus has a synthetic arm, or a mechanized arm. Think, what did they do? In iRobot. Think Syllabus as Will Smith's character, because he did get damaged and he had a total prosthetic arm. So, since they go on the run, the government, both in Mars and Earth, want them dead, so they send a whole bunch of army against them. The secret about Armitage is revealed in all of that, and I'm not going to give some huge spoilers away so that you don't know the ending of the series, but I highly recommend it. It ended up being one of my favorite animated OVAs in the cyberpunk genre. So then they came out with Armitage Dual Matrix movie in 2001, and it continues with Naomi and Ross now having a daughter and are married and both still work, but Naomi tries to adjust to motherhood as best as she can, and knowing that who she is isn't a very conforming to being a mother. So the company on Earth tries to duplicate the Armitage's secrets, but in the search for this, they kind of make up their biggest mistake by messing with her family. And it's a high-octane, action-thrilling animation. I highly recommend movie from me. This takes place after Armitage 3rd. I think it's a step down in storytelling, but the animation is a step up because technology has created better animation styles throughout the years. And because this one came out numerous years after the first, the technology had improved. So I highly recommend Armitage Dual Matrix as well. Next one, before I continue, I just want to say thank you, YouTube. I'm a new YouTuber, and I believe I forgot to introduce my channel, which is anthonys.geekdom.com. And hit that like, subscribe, and hope to hear from your guys' comments, because I can't go live yet until I get enough subscriptions and likes. So if you guys and gals do comment, I will make sure to answer all the comments or questions that you have on my following upcoming videos. Thus far, I haven't had any, but I don't care. I'm going to do this, and thank you, YouTube, for pushing out young and new content creators. I appreciate it very much, and I'm going to go on. And my next anime is considered a movie more than a series. It's called Battle Angel Alita Gundam, otherwise known in Japan as Gundam. It came out in 1993, and it's set in a very distant future. Zalem is the only floating cities on Earth left, and below it is Iron City. That is where we find Ido, who is a cybernetic doctor. He finds Alita's core body in the rubble below Zalem's metal waste. Who is she? What is she? We find out later in this movie, but as she awakens, she has a complete body, and that was created by the Dr. Ido, who put the core and the body together. What we don't know is the backstory of that. I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but throughout the movie, Alita becomes a hunter warrior, and her body gets destroyed, and so Ido puts her true body together in, what's the word I'm looking for? A procedure he promised not to do prior. But since he did, she now is even more powerful than the body he provided her with, and they go after a villain named Vector and Groisha, who is a cyborg killing other cyborgs. So it has drama, romance, and some sadness at the end. You root for her, and I believe you guys would like it if you don't know anything about retro anime. It's anime that came out 30 years or to 20 years prior to now. I thought it was groundbreaking, and I truly enjoyed it. So that is another one I highly recommend. Next one is called Key, the Metal Idol. It came out in 1994 to 97. Tokyo Mima, otherwise known as Key, is a 17-year-old girl, and although she looks human, in fact she is a robot. And she has a grandfather, Dr. Miro Mima, who unexpectedly passed away. And I believe he is the one that created her. And so before he passes away, he leaves her a dying message stating that if you make over 30,000 friends, you will become real. So she's pretty much on her own, and she goes to Tokyo from her small village that she was living in and meets a friend that she grew up with. It's kind of like a Pinocchio premise of trying to become a real girl instead of a real boy. But in Tokyo, she reunites with her childhood friend Sakura. Ki idolizes a singer, Miho, and Miho is key to this plot. Is Miho keeping a secret, though, from Ki that could affect her? Is this secret tied to her grandfather? This is a refreshing drama, cyberpunk anime that shows a lot of emotion and isn't just a lot of action of mechs blowing things up. I highly recommend this one. I'm not going to tell you how it ends. I'm just trying to get you guys interested in it, and perhaps you guys try something new. So that is Ki the Metal Idol. The next one is Genocyber. Now, this one is absolutely, positively not meant for children. It is one of the most brutal anime I have ever seen, and it deals with an experiment combining psychic potential and cybernetics. It's a tragic story of a mad scientist using a pair of sisters, one healthy, the other one is crippled, dealing also with the country withdrawing from the UN to protest the New World government. And they launch an invasion of a neighboring country. Genocyber goes on a rampage, attacking the city with anything in its way. Sorry about that. I lost concentration, but I'm here still. So, mistakes and all, I am going to continue. I am not going to stop this video. So, like I said before, it's one of the most brutal anime I've ever seen. And will anything or anyone survive? That's going to be up to you guys watching the ending. If you like ultra-violent, grotesque horror, I highly recommend this 5-episode OVA. The next one is probably one of the most influential, possibly second most influential cyberpunk series ever made. I'm going to save the last anime I talk about for that being number 1. But this one is number 2 in my opinion, and it's Ghost in the Shell. They have had numerous series, numerous movies, numerous OVAs throughout the series, ongoing and retellings of. So I'm going to go over the Ghost in the Shell movie 1 and then just briefly mention their offshoots. So Ghost in the Shell was made in 1995, and it takes place in a distant future, mostly in Japan, with a group of public security called Section 9. Mainly, the main character is Major Motoko Kusanagi. They are in a city called Nihama, Port City. A cyber hacker called the Puppet Master is taking over humans who have had their brains augmented through cyber technologies, and the degree that which a normal human can have is minor to severe, but the ones who have most severe are easier to be hacked. Brain hacked is what they call in this thing. So the whole Section 9, once the Puppet Master is introduced, is going after finding this Puppet Master and trying to stop him. And in doing so, Major Kusanagi has her doubts on who she really is and what is her place in the world, which mirrors some of what Puppet Master does. And in the end, I'm not going to give it away, things happen that dramatically change where I thought it was going to go. So, this is a total cyberpunk. It has invisibility, cloaks. It has to deal with what is a human soul. And in my opinion, without this movie, the 1999, 2001, and 2004 series known as The Matrix would have never happened. So, after the Ghost in the Shell movie came out, they had what you would call offshoot series and prequel series that tie in and don't tie in. So the main ones would be Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, Standalone Complex Second Gig. Those do follow each other in the same universe, but it's kind of not related to the actual movie. Then they had Ghost in the Shell Arise, which serves more as a prequel to the original movie, but things and time periods have changed, so it's more of a retelling prequel. So yeah, that's where that went. And so I just want to thank again YouTube for letting me create my content, and please like and hit that like button and subscribe so that I can receive comments and go live sooner rather than later. Okay, my next anime is Appleseed, the original anime. That came out in 1986, based after World War III in a utopian city, Olympus, where humans and cyborgs and bioroids live together. And for the most part, harmony and peace, though there are those who feel Olympus is more of like a cage. The two main characters are Dunan Newt, a highly trained soldier who is completely human, but is a complete awesome female fighter. And then there's Briareus. I cannot pronounce his. I can never pronounce his name. Briareus Hectonokinus, whom is a cyborg mostly, though human. He was injured in a previous mission, and that's how he became a cyborg. He has a special helmet that kind of looks like rabbit ears. That was kind of the trademark of the series back in the 80s. But those antennae actually have hidden devices, mainly hidden eye cameras, so that he can see around corners without having himself be detected around a corner. So, but those two characters are dealing with the government, and they lead a special ESWAT, extended SWAT team, or enhanced SWAT team is what their nickname is, and they have high-tech mech suits that they use to fight what crime does exist in Olympus. The two main characters do go through, what's the word I'm looking for? Trials, as they are new to this city, and they're from a remnants of the past war from World War III. So they're new to this city called Olympus. The one key character is a bioroid, and in this movie they use her as a key to do something with. The two villains in the movie actually use her. I'm not going to give away any more information that would lead to spoilers, but she is key in it, and her name is, I believe, Hitomi. And they use her in ways to do further their plans, which is to stop Olympus from existing. That's all I'm going to say, and the ending is heartfelt and high action, high octane, good drama in my opinion. Definitely cyberpunk. Everybody except Noonan, except for Dunan Newt, is pretty much enhanced with cybernetics. So that is that one. And then they did an offshoot of Appleseed, a remake in 2000. Oh, why can't I? Let me look at my notes here really quick. Oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. Appleseed had three, as far as I know, three sequels. The Appleseed original in 1988, the 2004 called Appleseed, and then the Appleseed sequel to that, which was in 2007 called Ex Machina, and then they had Appleseed X111 in 2011. So I apologize for my sporadicness here. I'm getting new to this and making my notes. I'm not trying to read them all. Most of this is from memory. So, yeah. So, yep. I'm still here, and this is the longest video I have done. The next movie or series is called Memories. It's 1995 movie anthology that is 3 short films put together into an anime package. The first film is called Magnetic Rose. The second one is Strike Bomb. And the third, Cannon Fodder. These are unique, and if I give too much detail, it might spoil them, so I'm just going to read off what I wrote about them to see if it interests you guys. Magnetic Rose takes place in deep space, where the Corona, a salvage freighter, answers a distress signal. Approaching a ship graveyard of various space vessels surrounding a huge space station. In that station, they're faced with mysteries and murder and AI holograms. Watch the end to see if anyone survives. So it is a thrilling, to me, concept of putting cyberpunk into actual anime drama. So that is Magnetic Rose. The notes I wrote for Strike Bomb go as this. A pill taken by a lab tech, Nobuo Tanaka, that was experimental and was meant to counter biological weapons, he thought was just a normal medicine. And so he takes it, and it has a very bad interaction with the flu shot he had before ingesting the pill. What happens next is horrific as he tries to move throughout the city. Will there be a happy ending for the gent, or end up being a living nightmare? There's things in here that are not meant for children, and it is very violent. So I wanted to put cliff notes on this and don't give anything away. But if these descriptions sound like it intrigues you, give it a good watch. The third movie on this is called Cannon Fodder, and it's a short film where there's a city firing cannons constantly against its enemy. But is that enemy really there? Does the enemy exist? Watch to find out, as every building within the city is almost equipped with cannons. A boy and his father, whom is a cannon loader, and his mother a munitions worker in a factory. It revolves around these 3 people. And there was an accident in the city next to one of the main cannons, and the kid's father was to blame. I'm not going to give away the way the ending goes, but in this, it's filled with drama, sadness, and a dreamlike sense. This one was more out there than even the previous Strike Bomb. I enjoyed this, but this one was a little sad for me. So, how does it end? You have to see for yourself. All right. That would be the anthology known as Memories. Next one for me is a cyberpunk anime that mixes in a little more action detective kind of story, almost superhero-ish, but it's called Goku Midnight Eye. Not to get confused with Goku and Dragon Ball Z. We're not talking about Dragon Ball Z here. It's called Goku Midnight Eye, and it deals around a fellow named Goku Furinji. He's a detective, and in one of his cases he was dealing with, he gets very injured and almost loses his life. But the story is about him trying to solve some slew of unsolved homicides, quote-unquote suicides. And through this investigation, he gets injured, and when he does come out of it, he becomes equipped with an eye that can hack into any computer on the planet. And he uses this to his advantage and then the next episode, it's a 2-episode OVA, and in the next episode he gets intertwined into a family saga that doesn't end very well, but I'm not going to give details away. But he does get into a whole lot of family drama and a dysfunctional family affair where this lady comes to him, and that lady's brother was forced into a super soldier program unwillingly and tortured by the lady's own father. So it's very brutal, very graphic, and not meant for kids. So that's Goku Midnight Eye. We're coming up on the tail end here. We've got 3 more to go. Next one is probably one of the greatest anime to come out in the last 20 years, in my opinion. Not just because it's cyberpunk, but because of the storytelling, character development. And that anime is called Cowboy Bebop, coming out in 1998. Now, this deals with space bounty hunters, aka cowboys, are now roaming the solar system thanks to a rising crime rate. The Inner Solar System Police created and authorized legally this system of bounty hunters. I'm not going to give too much information on this one, except to say this is in my top 15 anime of all time. The story takes place mainly with the crew of the ship Bebop. And throughout this series, each character is developed superbly, fleshed out, and featured with great care. This is one wild, exciting anime filled with heart, drama, and emotion, with action that is top-notch. All-time classic, in my opinion. It deals with many themes: gambling, corporation corruption, and vengeance. So I highly recommend Cowboy Bebop. The soundtrack alone is worth purchasing. So yes, that is Cowboy Bebop. Next one is Ergo Proxy. And this is a series that deals in the future in a biodome city with androids and humans coexisting peacefully. But a new virus has made some of these androids be self-aware, and because of that, they start becoming violent, and some are doing criminal acts. And through these robberies and murders, it is up to an officer to investigate. Once he does, he's pulled deeper and deeper into corporate experimentation on a humanoid species known as Proxy. This stylistic drama thriller tells a great story of intrigue with emotion, action, and drama and twists. I highly recommend. And these proxies are highly powerful off-breeds of humans. So it's very violent and mature rating. So if you have children, I wouldn't let them watch it. But anybody above 15, I highly recommend Ergo Proxy as a cyberpunk anime. Last but not least, and the best for last, is 1988's Akira. This set, I believe, more so than Ghost in the Shell, the popularity of anime here in the United States. Now, I've been watching anime since I was 4 years old due to satellite TV in 1979, but most people didn't know what anime was. This film was more influential than any other anime film in history, I believe. It belongs up there in the top 5, if not the best. So it is placed in post-World War III in Neo-Tokyo, where corruption, protests against the government, gang violence, and terrorism take place. Shotaro Kaneda, leader of the gang Capsules, has his best friend Tetsuo, who is more like a little brother. But in a gang fight, a biker fight between the clowns and the Capsules, Tetsuo gets in an accident And in that accident, he gains Takashi. He gets in contact with Takashi. As he tries to avoid Takashi, the effect of the explosion causes Tetsuo to get psychic powers. And that's where this movie really starts to begin. He becomes so powerful that the common populace start to praise him as the reincarnation of Akira. And it deals with government experiments and these other, what they call espers. There's 3 of them. They help throughout the movie, and they also try to kill Tetsuo. So this takes place as teenagers fighting the government, pretty much. And the teenagers of the main gang, Capsule Corp, is where they... Or not Capsule Corp. This isn't Dragon Ball Z, people. The Capsule Gang is led by Kanata. And his best friend, Tetsuo, gets injured, as I stated earlier. And Tetsuo primarily escapes the facility he was being tested at. And when he comes back, he steals Kaneda's bike, and the clown gang see him and try to get revenge, but Kaneda does come to the rescue. And from there, that Tetsuo gets recaptured, and that's where all the action begins. It is a wild ride. It differs from the manga, as in the comic book manga, because it was forced to condense a lot less content. But it deals with Tetsuo escaping his experimentation, getting much more powerful as it goes on, and the espers tell him in a final battle at the facility that they were being held at that Akira could help him. So Tetsuo goes deep into Neo-Tokyo to where Akira is being held in a highly freezing refrigeration unit in an old Olympic site. So the other characters are Case. She's a resistant fighter, and she becomes kind of Kaneda's girlfriend. There is the Colonel, who is named Colonel Shikamisha, and he leads Japan's self-defense forces and tries to overthrow the actual Japanese government in this film as well. It is a wild ride. I'm not going to give away the way the ending ends, but Kaneda does have a laser gun, and he does try to face off against his best friend, little brother, Tetsuo. This is a superb anime. Rocks all the way, in my opinion. And it is what I believe started the mainstream of cyberpunk. There are cyberpunk animes that came before this, but this is what made cyberpunk anime popular in the United States when it was aired in 1988 in movies. And I highly remember this because I was 13 when this movie came out, and my big brother took me to see this with my movie ticket, and it is something I will never forget. So, anyways, that is my reviews of my favorite cyberpunk animes. I hope you appreciated this video, and hit that like and subscribe once again. And if there are any comments or questions, I will answer them in my next upcoming video. Thank you for your time, and this is Anthony Mendoza at anthonys.geekdom.com. Bye now.